Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give it just 1 minute more or extra. And I must warn, our electricity is going off at 6. But I did switch my goofers. So if it didn't work and I did something wrong and I go offline, I will quickly reboot. But it seems like Eskom gave us a few more minutes. The rest, can you still see and hear me?
Yes, you can go, Emily.
Okay. All right, so I'm on my. All right, I think we can start just in the darkness on this side. I'm Elmarie Jooste, I'm Executive Client Relations and Wellness, and welcome at this session that we will focus primarily on the Pace2 and Pace3 options. Now, we got requests from members to compare Beat 4 with Pace2. We can send you the presentation of Beat 4 and the presentation of Pace2, and then you can compare it. But we group the options that's similar together so that you understand the differences between the options. But we're going to go through the presentation. It's a lot of information, but we try to do it as simple as possible. You will receive copies of the presentation, and you will also receive a copy of Pace2 separate, the presentation in PDF, and a copy of the Pace3 presentation in PDF version or format. So it's so that you can see clearly the difference between the two products. Because it's so much information and we have an hour and we want to allow members to ask questions, you will see that I'm not going through each and every slide and each and every line. I'm just focusing on the headlines and then the main differences between the options. Now, hospital authorization, our products, all of our products, but especially the Pace2 and Pace3, but all products, you need to have authorization. So you need to obtain pre-authorization before you go to hospital. And then there's no annual limit. So you can't be asked to leave the hospital or be discharged when you reach a 3 million rand bill at the end. We have no limit, overall annual limit on any of our products in hospital. But we cover not only, but we cover 100% of scheme tariffs. And scheme tariffs is tariffs that we decide on and we negotiated with network providers so that if they're on our network and they treat you in hospital, they will ask what we pay and then there won't be a co-payment. You are welcome to take out gap cover separately. And the gap covered product then will cover the difference between the scheme tariff in terms of consultant or specialist fees and what the scheme pay for it. We can't promote, we can't market gap cover. We're not allowed to. You need to please speak to your financial advisor or healthcare advisor, because they usually sell gap cover. I call it in Afrikaans gatgeld because it covers the gat. So you're welcome to speak to your advisor, your intermediary, your broker, and ask for details about gap cover, and they will provide you with it. Now, on Pace2, we cover the amounts, the treatment in mental health clinics. You will see 21 days, treatment in chemical or treatment for chemical or substance abuse, 21 days or rand value. And then a major medical maxillofacial surgery. There's no limit, but we pay 100% scheme tariff. Dental and oral surgery, you have an amount. And prosthesis, remember, this is the first option in our product range where we cover joint replacements. And then there's an overall limit for prosthesis. And internal prosthesis, there's a different prosthesis, have different benefit amounts. And these are then the Pace2. I forgot to say in the beginning that you're welcome to make use of the functionalities. The question, or let me see if you're already doing it. You're welcome to use the Q&A functionality of the program or of Zoom to ask a question. There's a panel of 14 colleagues of mine and senior consultants that will answer your question. But I must warn you, it's not private, so please do not ask personal questions or raise, give personal information on that channel, because other people can see what you ask and what the answer was. We will at the end allow time for questions, and if I can't answer you, if there's no time, or if I don't have the answer, I will provide you with an email address to which you can use then to email a question. But I see somebody start noticing the Q&A and start with the questions. So the Pace2 also make provision for preventative care benefits. It shouldn't be there, but for refractive surgery in hospital, and then palliative care or home-based care with a rand value. We also, a few years ago, have implemented a rule and say certain procedures you need to obtain or have done in day clinics or day hospitals. And we now said that if you voluntarily refuse to go to a day clinic and you insist on going to a general hospital, there will be a 2,000 Rand, 500 Rand co-payment. But if you make use of a DSP, a best med specialist, and he or she refuses to make use of the network cost of the day clinic or day hospital, then you won't pay the co-payment or have to pay the co-payment, because it's not you, it is our network doctor. So that is then involuntary. Then also, if you compare that with Pace3, you will note that it is more or less, it is the same, no overall limit, 100% of scheme tariffs. But you will see there's slight differences in terms of for example, dental and oral surgery. You get 18,000 Rand on Pace3 compared to Pace2, where you get 14,700. So it's small baby changes or differences, but still it's different than Pace2. Also then, internal prosthesis amounts, refractive surgery, it's slightly more than Pace2, but I would say the in-hospital benefits more or less the same than the Pace2 and Pace3 is more or less the same. There's no real difference. Then we have out-of-hospital benefits, but it can also be done in hospital to you or with you. You can also claim for it while in hospital. For example, MRIs or CT scans. On these two options, both of them, we cover 3 MRIs per beneficiary per year. And it's in or out of hospital. PET scans, 1 per beneficiary per year. And then we pay for wheelchair and hearing aids directly from your scheme benefits, and the amounts are stipulated on the screen. This is now Pace2. Rehabilitation after trauma, it must be authorized, and you, in most cases, we will refer you to designated service providers. It's, for example, if you had a stroke and you need occupational therapy afterwards. Then if you compare that with Pace3, you will see that it's, again, 3 scans per beneficiary per year. Wheelchair amount is the same, and the hearing amount is 4,000 Rand more. The only difference between Pace2 and Pace3 with regard to these scheme benefits out of hospital is the fact that we cover on Pace3 the flash glucose monitoring system or apparatus up to 21,000 Rand per family per annum, which we don't cover on Pace2. When we look at the medicine benefits, now this is the same for Pace2 and the same for Pace3. There's 3 different groups of sicknesses that we cover the medicine from scheme benefits. So in my mind, or my personal opinion, is that the word chronic benefit or medicine benefits for chronic medicine is what is causing a lot of uncertainties and questions and expectations from members. The reason, if you use the word chronic, then it's something that you use on a repeated basis, on continuous basis. And if you use medicine, for example, for restless leg disease, it's a chronic condition that you take medicine on a continuous basis for. But PaceMed doesn't cover it as chronic. You need to pay for it from your acute medicine benefit. So I usually explain the medicine benefit by focusing on the condition. So there's 3 lists of sickness conditions that if you have one of those sickness conditions, we will cover the medicine from your chronic medicine benefit, from scheme medicine benefit. Now, the first group of sickness conditions are those that are called CDL conditions, and it's 27 of them. And those conditions are covered on all the options, whether you're on Beat1, which is a hospital plan, or Pace4, that's a little bit, I'm not allowed sex, but it's a little bit expensive option. So we cover all 27 sickness conditions on those options, on all our options. But because by law we need to do it, the Department of Health and the Council of Medical Scheme gave us a list of conditions, but they also said we need to cover your medicine plus the treatment for that condition that the average patient needs during a period of 12 months. It's prescribed. They told us, and we do what they tell us. So we can't authorize extra things as part of the treatment protocol. It's a protocol, a treatment plan that we got from the Department of Health that we apply as we received it. Now, for those 27 conditions, you will, when you register for the medicine, you will receive a treatment plan. And the treatment plan will include, for example, a GP visit, say it's asthma. A GP visit is a lung function test, and then your medicine. Now, how we know those claims are related to that specific condition, asthma, is the doctor or the specialist need to use the correct ICD-10 code. That is the sickness code. And when they use the right sickness code, it will trigger on the system and pay from the right benefit pool. So if you have a look at the CDL conditions, it is the same for all. Can I just ask that those of you whose mics are not muted, that you just mute your mic? I think it's the best panelist whose mic is not muted. Then the 27 sickness conditions are listed now on the screen. We cover the same conditions and the same treatment from the scheme benefits on both options, Pace2 as well as Pace3. But for each of those conditions, there's a list of medicine that we call a medicine formulary that qualify for benefits. So your doctor can prescribe anything, but we will pay the item that's on the formulary. And if it's not on the formulary, we will pay the average cost of the generic item that's on the formulary. So then you might have a co-payment. No, if it's not on the formulary, there's a percentage co-payment, and the percentage co-payment is different from Pace2 to Pace3. We will come to that slide. I nearly gave Jackie now a heart attack. So the second group of sickness conditions is part of the PMB conditions, or prescribed minimum benefit conditions. Now, there's a list of 272 procedures or treatments that by law we need to cover on all options. It's like emergency treatment. It's not always chronic conditions, but it can be like a miscarriage, those kind of cases. Now, 18 of those 272 sickness treatment or cases include medicine as part of the treatment. And those 18 are listed now on the screen, and we cover the medicine for those 18 on both Pace2 and Pace3. We cover it on all the options, but you need to register for it, okay? But it's on the same, it's again, there's a formulary, and you need to register for it, but it's the same for Pace2 and Pace3. Okay, now, just then. Okay, so how do you register for one of the PMB conditions? You download the PMB registration form from the website, or you email it, ask PMB@BestMed for the form. Your doctor completes it and then submit it, and then the medicine is registered, and you will get your letter confirming it. But the most important in my mind is the non-CDL. Remember, if we go back to this slide where we show you there's 3 groups of medicines. Ooh, marketing will kill. And this is a blue block. It's the non-CDL conditions. Now, the non-CDL conditions is where BestMed or medical schemes have the choice whether we want to add a condition or not. The others, the CDL and the PMBs, we don't have a choice. We need to cover it. But non-CDL, we decide whether we want to cover it. And that is where we differentiate between options. Now, on Pace1, we only cover 7 non-CDL. On Beat 4, we cover 9 non-CDL conditions. And then on Pace2, we cover 20, as well as on Pace3, we cover 20 non-CDLs. But the non-CDLs, we only cover your medicine. We don't cover the treatment. The treatment for non-CDL are paid from your day-to-day or your savings account. If you have any of these conditions, you also need to register with PaceWed so that we pay for the medicine from your chronic medicine benefit. And if you're on Pace2, you have, and you're a single person, you have 10,000 Rand, and if you're a family, you have 20,000 Rand. Now, all three those medicine groups, the cost are paid from the 20,000 Rand, but only the non-CDL conditions, the 20 non-CDL, the cost of those that are limited to the 20,000 Rand. The others are unlimited. Once you reach your 20,000 Rand, you will still be able to get it. Now, on the 20 non-CDL conditions, you have a standard 10% co-payment on all approved formulary medicines. If you choose, or if your doctor prescribes something that's not on the formulary, Pace2, then there's a 20% co-payment. And it differs. If you're on Pace3, your Rand value, and this is a key difference between the two options. The Rand value is more. You have 30,000 Rand as a family. You have still the standard 10% co-payment on all non-CDL formulary medicines. But if it's not on the formulary, you have a 15% co-payment, whereas on Pace2, you had a 20% co-payment. Okay. So that's a key difference between Pace2 and Pace3. Now, you will note that if we look at the Pace, I know I'm doing something that's wrong. If you look at the non-CDL, which we said it's limited to the 20,000 and 30,000 Rand, you will note that there's major, number 12, major depression. Now, which means that we are allowed as scheme to stop paying for your depression medicine once you reach your 20 or your 30,000 Rand limit. But we decided in 2022 already, we won't do it. We treat it as if it's a CDL. So even if you deplete your medicine, chronic medicine limit, you will still be able to get your medicine for major depression, although it's a non-CDL condition. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is, we call some of the medicines high risk, high cost medicines. And it is medicines for, like for example, MS or organ transplants. That's really expensive. We don't deduct it from that amount, the chronic, the 20 and the 30,000. We directly paid from scheme benefit. Because if we deduct it from your chronic medicine benefit amount, it will be depleted within the next or first 2 months. So we go directly into scheme benefits. We don't deduct it from the medicine benefit. And that's the same on both options. Okay. So it's important to note that for CDL and PMBs, because it's unlimited benefits, you need to make use of, or we prefer if you make use of formulary medicine. If your medicine is on the formulary, there's no co-payment, but the medicine reference price list applies, which means that is generic medicine, and the cost of the average cost of the generic medicines that's in that same class. So it might be that 1 month you will have a 7 Rand co-payment on an item, and 1 month you have 11 Rand co-payment. But the item is on the formulary. Then it means that in that month they produce another generic that might be cheaper, that now affected the average cost. And that is why there's a slight difference in the co-payment. But we will always, on your authorization letter, stipulate which medicines or generic items are within the MRP where you will not have a co-payment. Okay, if your doctor prescribed CDL and PMB medicines that's not on the formulary, you have a co-payment on Pace2 of 20% and on Pace3 15%. And still the MRP applies. So over and above the 15%, you can have an additional co-payment, which is then the MRP that applies. So it's important that once you're diagnosed with one of these conditions, any of the conditions, give your doctor the list of items or the list of formulary so that he or she can choose something that's on the formulary. And if he doesn't the first time, on the letter that we will send you, we will provide you with the information of alternatives that's close to the formulary or that's on the formulary and close to the MRP so that you can limit your co-payments. Then there's two, I'm not going to talk about the acute and the over-counter medicine now. I'll talk about it when we cover the day-to-day benefits. But important to know is there's a fourth group of medicines, which is the biological medicine. And you will note that there's a huge difference between Pace2 biological medicine benefit and Pace3. Biological medicine are items that is mainly prescribed for conditions such as rheumatoid arthritis or certain cancers. And we cover it up to 182,000 Rand per beneficiary per year on Pace2, but on Pace3, it's much more. It's close to 400,000 Rand. It falls under the chronic medicine, but remember, we don't deduct it from your chronic medicine. It's a standalone benefit. Okay, I will come back to the OTC and stuff now. Then if we move on, remember you have now your hospital benefits. It's a scheme benefits, a standalone. Then you have your medicine. You must make sure that all your chronic medicine that you take on a regular basis or not on a regular basis, but qualifies as a PMB, that you register for them. And by you do that, you can confirm that you registered for it on the app. So if you open the app, you look at your medicine that's authorized and see which conditions and which medicines are authorized. If you're still unsure, you liaise with medicine@pacemed.co.za and confirm with them. It's very important for the Pace2 members in 2023 to do that because we've reduced your acute medicine benefit. And previously, you were not, because your acute medicine benefit was so high, you didn't realize that it's paid as acute and not as chronic medicine. So it's important that you register, especially for CDL conditions, because then you qualify for additional benefits that's not paid from your savings account. So the third group of benefits that's a standalone, that's not paid from your savings or your day-to-day, is optical benefits. And here the benefit, if I remember correct, for Pace2 and Pace3 it's the same. We prefer that you make use of a PPN provider. It's PPN is the network provider that contracted with optometrists such as Specsavers, Torga Optical, those kind. And if you go to them, then you qualify every 2 years for an eye test or consultation, a frame up to 1,040 Rand, and then 100% of the standard lenses, whether it's single, bifocal, multifocal. Contact lenses, you have 2,000 Rand and 2,010 Rand, and then you can use 750 either for lens enhancements or for the frame. So it's your choice. If you choose to go to a non-network optometrist, then only do we pay for a single vision lens 215 Rand. But it doesn't say that the value that you get for a single vision lens at the PPN provider is of 215 Rand. It's more, it's a quality product, but it's just when you make use of a non-PPN provider that the amounts are much less than what we pay for PPN provider. And then you get exactly the same on Pace3. So there's no difference. You can, if you log on to ppn.co.za, you can find all the PPN contracted providers on the network. And then also, if you log on to Basement, you can see what benefits you have available for optical benefits. Maternity benefits is exactly the same. You don't need to change option if you're now on Pace2 because you're pregnant. You get 9 antenatal consultations at a GP or gynae or midwife, and 1 postnatal, 2 ultrasounds, and then 9 months of supplements. So supplements in terms of what you need for your pregnancy, there's a list, but it included medicine that range from folic acid to iron. It all depends on what you need, but you can claim 127 Rand per month, and you can have that repeat for 9 months. Hopefully you're only pregnant for 9 months. So that is the same then on Pace2 and Pace3. Preventative care benefits, the same for Pace2 and Pace3. It is the widest range of preventative benefits. You will note the bone density test, PSA for males, and mammograms, females 40 years and older, every 24 months. Remember, it's 24 months and 1 day for a mammogram, and then pap smears, females 18 and above, every 24 months. Travel vaccines, flu vaccines, we cover the same on both the options. The Tempo Wellness Program, it's the same on both options. It's the same on all the options. At present, we cover your assessment at a nurse, your health assessment, then your fitness assessment at a biokineticist, and 1 follow-up consultation for fitness plan or exercise plan, 1 assessment at the dietitian for nutritional assessment, and then a follow-up consultation for a diet plan. And next year you will have that, and you will switch over to the online program that is basically challenges and journeys that you can follow on your own. You don't need to rely on the bio or the biokineticist. We integrate with fitness devices. You set your own goals, and it's more engaging and motivating you to reach your wellness goals. We recently launched the emotional well-being journey that's available on the app. So again, it's we make use of providers that gave us information about certain topics, so you can listen to a podcast or watch your video. You do some challenges, exercises, practices. That's part of skills development, so that the knowledge that you obtain, you can practice that and apply it. And then the 4th journey is where we will link the system with the preventative care benefits that you have available, so that you can see it on the app as part of your wellness program. As I said, the wellness program, the emotional wellness program is available. You can go to the app and download it and test it and give us feedback. You can just give me 2 seconds. Okay. So up to now, we've covered everything that's not paid from your savings or your day-to-day benefits. So it's standalone benefits. It's not deducted anywhere. Partly. But the next group of benefits are where we speak about your savings account. And in the previous session we had this afternoon, members ask, when are you paying something from your savings, and when is it paid from your day-to-day benefits? Now, the Pace2 and the Pace3 benefits, the structure look exactly the same. You have an annual savings at the bottom, and then on top of that, once your savings is depleted, you have day-to-day benefits or scheme benefits. And when then you have a vested savings, but we will explain that to you. So first of all, if we look at your annual savings account, if you are on Pace2 and Pace3, 14% of your annual contribution are allocated towards your savings account, and you get that on the 1st of January. So on the 1st of January, we open your savings account and we deposit the money, it's there. We can only use that money for you and your family. And you can pay for it for health expenses, provided that the provider that you claim from is registered with the HPCSA, or they must have a practice number. If it's medicine, it must be registered with the Medicine Council and must have a NAPI code. We do not pay from your annual savings optical benefits. So you can't choose a more expensive frame and then have the difference paid from your annual savings. Also, you can't claim the difference between the scheme tariff and your provider's tariff from your annual savings. We pay only scheme tariffs from your annual savings. Now, if you're on Pace2, and you're married to an adult, hopefully, and you only have one adult husband or wife, the two of you have a savings of 21,000 Rand. And 840. That's in your savings account. If you have two children, then that can't be right. So if you if you two adults and two children, then it's 26,000 Rand. That's in your savings. You can, what I didn't say before is, another limit that we place in your annual savings is with regard to over-the-counter medicine. Over-the-counter medicine is OTC. Over-the-counter medicine and medicine that you obtain without a script. It's Schedule 0, 1, and 2. Now, we limit you to only 1,057 Rand per family per annum to pay from your savings account towards over-the-counter medicine. Now, I know it's a very sensitive and very emotional point and benefit issue, but the reason why we've implemented is not financially. It was basically because we want to ensure that members not self-medicate up to a point where it harmed them. So we thought that 1,000 Rand per family is enough to cover those basic stuff that you know, Disprints and Bernardus, whatever you use it, you can claim for it. But it's difficult for us to see how members self-medicate up to a point where if they went to a proper doctor earlier, they could have been diagnosed correctly and received the correct treatment and the quality treatment that they deserved and for their condition. And because they self-medicate, they never did that. So there's two things. And yes, the sooner you deplete your annual savings, the sooner you enter into day-to-day benefits, and that have a direct effect again on the cost of the option because it has on the claims profile. So it has a financial reason as well. but it's important for us to regulate self-medication and to make sure that you rather go to a GP. And I know it's additional cost because it's now cost of a GP consultation, but then we know that he or she made the diagnosis and you receive the right script for medication. So what I want to say is on Pace2, if you're a single member, you have 11,000 Rand in your savings. And if you're married to an adult, 21,000 Rand. If you are on Pace3 and you're a single member, you have 12,000. If you're married to an adult, you have 22,000. And if you're 2 adults and 2 children, 27,000. If you compare that with Pace2 with 26,000, you will see it's not that much difference. But the difference come in after your savings is depleted. So as we receive claims and it doesn't qualify for any of the other benefits such as chronic optical benefits or hospital or any maternity or wellness or anything else, we pay it from your savings until it's depleted. Then immediately you go into what we call your day-to-day benefits, and that is scheme benefit. Now, what's important for you to note is your day-to-day limit or day-to-day benefits, there's 2 limits applicable. One, there's an overall limit, annual limit amount, and then there's service-specific limits. And that's what's missing in the savings account. There's no service-specific limit, only on the OTC. So once you enter the day-to-day benefits, then on Pace2, you have 15,000 overall if you're a single person. And if you're a family, and a family is anybody or any size more than 1, you have 30,000 Rand day-to-day benefits. But within that 30,000 Rand, you have service-specific limits. So for GP visits, you have, if you're a family, 9,280. Dentistry, you have 15,000. Supplementary, you have 7,000. Radiology, you have 7,000. Acute medicine, you have 6,000. But overall, you can't claim more than the 30,000. Am I right? Yeah, 30,000. On Pace2, your overall limit is higher. So a single person, you have 20,000, and a family have 41,000. But within that overall limit, you have service-specific limits, and it's listed there. Now, some of the service-specific limits are higher on Pace2 still, but we reduced it quite a lot, and that is acute medicine and supplementary. We slowly but surely bring it in line, but Pace3 members, you will note that you got higher amounts. The increase on supplementary and acute medicine on Pace3 were higher than 5.7%. So we're attending to those issues that you complained about for years now. And that is, you need to look at it. But if I were you and I need to choose between the 2 options, make sure that your overall limit, is enough to cover your day-to-day expenses in the past. But for sure, the most important thing is your chronic medicine benefit is higher on Pace3 compared to Pace2. So if you need more non-CDL conditions or medicines, or you need more medicine benefits, then Pace3 is much better. Okay. Now, if you do not claim, you have a savings. If you're a family of 4, we said you have 27,000 Rand in your savings, on your annual savings on Pace3. Now, if you didn't claim all of that, in 1 year, the 27,000 Rand, you didn't deplete your annual savings for the year, then that money carries over to the next year, but you will see it only in May on your statement. And the reason why you will only see it in May is because we need to wait 4 months by law on providers to still submit claims. So in month 5, we carry it over, and then it changed in name. The balance then of your unused savings turn into vested savings account. And you receive an 8% interest. We're the only scheme that pay interest on your balance in your savings account at the end of the year. And it carries over and it becomes vested savings account. So the following year, we leave your vested savings and we start the year from scratch again, annual savings only. So your vested savings can grow and grow and grow, and you earn interest, and that money is yours. So that whenever but you will never, but when you decide to leave Bestmed and join another scheme, that money will be transferred over to the new scheme savings account. And if you pass, then that pass away, that money will go into your estate. It belongs to you and your family. Okay. And that is what I've said. What is a vested savings account? It's unused annual savings that carries over. And the only benefit that, or expense that are paid from your vested automatically is pharmacy claims. So acute medicine. We will test whether there's acute medicine benefit under your day-to-day. If not, then it will automatically test against your vested. If there's vested, it will pay from your vested. The other benefits, when you reach a limit, we won't automatically pay it from your vested savings. You need to instruct us to pay something from your vested savings. So it might be that we reject claims because you depleted your annual savings, but you have vested savings. You can tell us once that you need to automatically always pay something from my vested if I reach a limit. Then we will open or activate the system and we will do it. Or you can tell us on ad hoc basis, which means that every time that you reach a limit you need to tell us. We couldn't generalize because some members want to control it and some members don't want. They want all, automatically to pay something from your vested savings. Now, just a reminder with regard to cost. Contributions, you pay only for 3 children. And we changed in 2022 the age of children that your child is still a child dependent and pay a child fee up to the age of 24 years, which is a huge benefit, I think. If it is, and then they don't need to be a student. If they're still on your medical aid, they will pay child dependent fees. If they're a student, that age increased to 26 years of age, but then you need to submit proof that they are registered as students. Now, on Pace2, you pay, principal member pays 6,500, and adult dependent 6,400, and a child 1,400. If you look at Pace3, you will see that the principal member is 7,500, an adult is 6,000, and then child is 1,200. So if you do the calculations, you will see as a family of 4. There's no huge difference, but on this option, the majority of the percentage of the family contribution is loaded on the principal member. Then you all know about our app. So if you have, you download the app or the website. We've upgraded our website, and we recently won a prize for the best website. So if you use the app, you will see there's functionalities where you can have access to your benefits. Say, for example, this is what you had in your savings. This is what you had for GP visit. This is what you use, and this is what's available. So you don't need to phone the call center or worry every time you need to go to the doctor. We have increased our ways that you can deal or contact us. And you will note that we even open on Saturdays till 3 o'clock. I didn't know that. Till 3 o'clock on Saturdays. And then there's the numbers. If you have questions about now this presentation or the year-end changes, please, if you want to change your option, your first choice is you need to go to speak to your advisor, your intermediary at your employer. If you via an employer and they have appointed an advisor, you need to speak to them because they can give you objective advice. If you join BestMed via the direct sales, our internal teams, you can send the email to escalations, and they will then forward it to the right department to do the analysis to see what you've claimed and to give you the right advice. But we prefer that if you have an advisor and intermediary, that you liaise via them. That is the end of me talking, but we will open the floor for questions now. I just want to, I always forget how. So if you have a question, you're welcome just to raise your hand. And then if I can answer it, I will do my best. Otherwise, please send your questions to escalations. And if it's something for me, you can say, send it to Elmarie, and they will forward it to me. Any of the questions that in the question and answer inbox that I need to help with before we go to Nella Mendes?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
I wanted to have listened to your presentation on the Pace1 on the 15th of November, but unfortunately I couldn't make it. How do I get a recording of that presentation? So very much what you've done now?
Yeah, it is a much the same. I can't remember whether I was in a better mood or it was better and I made less mistakes, but we can send you a recording. So just ask, send to escalations at BestMed. Katlego, you must forgive me, but send to escalations at bestmed.co.za and just ask for the recording of Pace1 and Beat 4. And we will send it to you, the link.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Any other question? I can't believe. Then anybody in the Q&As, could you answer all the questions? Yuki?
Marie, there's 2 more hands up.
Oh, sorry. Let me, oh, my magis. It's because I don't always, Dora? Dora, if you can just, we unmuted you. If you could just unmute yourself and then ask the question.
Hi, it's Sonia. I just wanted to thank you, comment, and thank you that this presentation was wonderful because we could ask the questions as you were presenting and the answers came. So I just wanted to comment and thank you for your efforts. That's all.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, the team that I surround myself with are the best. So that is, I choose the best ones to answer all the questions. Otherwise, I need to do it afterwards. So thank you for being here and thank you for your feedback. Dora? Otherwise, Ute, I hope I can see them. I don't have my glass.
Yes, I saw a question on the chat. Somebody asked about cataracts. I have the same question. Are cataracts covered?
Yes, but there's a process linked to it. You need to, because we contracted with PPN, they evaluate it and then they recommend, and then, so they are our filter and they kind of authorize it, but it's a benefit at the scheme. So it is we do fund it. It's just a process. You need to, if you, the detail about it, if you send it to escalations and just ask the process to follow when you need cataract operation or removal.
Okay. And then I had another question, which I also put on, but I might as well get an explanation here. The palliative and home-based care, is that only relating to oncology or other care needs?
No, it's other care needs as well. So, but it need to be pre-auth. So you need to liaise with the authorization unit or department, and they will authorize it. So it's not limited to oncology only, but it does include other conditions, but it need to be pre-auth, yes.
Okay, so for example, if I look at, because I'm actually talking on behalf of my mother, who's on Pace2, if she needed an extra carer in the home where she is living, could that be claimed?
No, because that is frail care.
Oh, that is frail care. Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay, I'll clarify other questions then through your email. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Was that Ute? Okay, Michael?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I just want to, do you still have coverage for CPAP machines?
Yes, there's, but you need to qualify, and it's paid from the appliances benefit. And I write my panel.
Say again?
Yeah, I'm talking to my team at the back,
okay.
just to confirm with them. It's also a process. You need to ask for, you need pre-authorization, and then send us a quote. And if you qualify, because we need the results of a test or evaluation, then we will authorize it if you have benefits for it. On Pace2 and Pace3, there is benefits on it, but it's pre-auth. So if you can send that to also to escalations for the process, and then we will provide you with it.
Okay, I have actually, I do have one, but it's getting a bit old now, so I just wanted to confirm that it is still available if I need to get a new one.
Yeah, I know that it's paid from a certain benefit. I think it's appliance benefits, and it's rental or buy. I'm not always sure how they do it, but it's better that you ask for the process, that the expert provide you with the right answer.
Okay,
But there are benefits, yeah. Linda? Linda? I noted, I'm not sure whether we said it, yeah, I noted that some marketing is so clever. They said, just a reminder to everybody that all these sessions, so who was it who asked for the presentation of Pace1. It's already on the website. So if you go to our website, it is there. We've placed it there or loaded up on the website. I forgot about it. So it's already there. You don't need to ask for it. Okay. Lanice or John Pierre? No, their hands are too many. Lanice or Linda? Lanice?
Thanks, Almarie. It's Lamise. I just wanted to know, by when do we have to actually change from one plan to the other if we need to?
Okay. If you participate at BestMed via your employer, their rules apply. So I know that certain corporates, the cutoff date is already somewhere in November, but the scheme by law, you have time till the end of December, 31st of December, 12 o'clock. But
Okay.
we prefer that you do it as early as possible in December, if you can, so that we can do all the admin and you don't need to wait. So, but you can choose, you can only change once, and that is December for January next year for implementation. Yes.
Thank you.
Nella?
Sorry, I wanted to ask, I do see that there's some information on your pamphlet that for breast cancer, reconstruction surgery is not covered. I don't know which plan it is now, but does that mean that the oncology side of it is not covered, or just the reconstructive surgery?
The reconstructive surgery is covered on all the options on the breast, that's the cancer breast. But the non-cancer breasts are only covered on Pace2 and Pace3. Am I right, colleagues?
That is correct, Annemarie. Almarie, sorry.
Thanks. So yes, so only on Pace2 and Pace3 and Pace4, we cover the reconstruction of the healthy breast, if you can call it like that, as well as then the cancerous breast. But on the other options lower, we only pay for the cancerous breast.
Okay, thank you.
Gerardus?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I just wanted to ask about the biological medicine. I see that the Pace3 allowance is around about twice the amount of Pace2. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, I just wanted to ask, is that amount determined by, I could say, the price of the medicine that is used or not?
Jackie, do you want to answer this one?
Almarie, I'm not quite sure how the actuaries determine the actual amount. So it's a very difficult question to answer because obviously the biological medicine is very expensive. But
Yes.
It depends on the medication that is used, that is approved under that limit. For some members, it is enough. And for other members, it is unfortunately not enough, but it's very medicine specific.
Yeah, I also know that when we did the benefit design for next year, is that there were no one on the Pace3 currently, or there were 2 members on the Pace3 currently that reached that limit. They didn't exceed it, but they claimed that amount. I can say that, and I don't know whether it's appropriate to say that the demographics of a specific option, the members that's currently on the option determines in most cases the benefits as well as the cost of the option. So that is why we try to, in our marketing campaigns, to attract, and I'm going to say this, younger, healthier members to be on, come and join the more expensive options, so, or the lower options, or any option to cross-subsidize the claims. And on Pace3, it is just one option that I said the focus of that option is chronic medicine, and biological medicine is part of it, medicine. And that is why you will see the chronic medicine benefit is much higher, and then the biological medicine is higher. But look at the principal member fee is also, it's R1,000 more, it's 12,000 Rand a year more than a principal member on Pace2. Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Izanda, and then we need to, because I start saying inappropriate things that we can't share. So Izanda, your question, and then we are done for the evening.
Good evening. I just want to thank you for your presentation and for all the info. We enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Oh, I think it's the first time that somebody said they enjoyed the session. So this is the first. But thank you so much for attending. Philip, you can ask a question if you still, because Izanda complimented me. Philip, if you still have a question, you're welcome to ask it. I will. Right. Then if Philip doesn't have a question, I want to thank you for attending the session. I know 6 o'clock in the evening is a unhealthy time slot, but we struggle to find a time slot that suit more people. But we found that it's much better attended if we do it after work hours, because then the spouses can also join in. Unfortunately, my team and the team of BestMed employees need to work late, but I want to thank them for being here and for answering all the questions so that I don't need to do it afterwards. And for the marketing team, especially those ladies who worked on the presentation, that doesn't like me a lot. Thank you for the effort that you put into the slides, and to Diresh and his team standing in with the questions. Thank you so much for being members and being part of BestMed. Have a good evening and have a good Christmas season. Goodbye.